Parshas Re'eh, learning to see the hidden blessing. The opening of Parshas Re'eh says, Re'eh anoichi noisei lifnechem hayom bracha uklala. See, I am placing before you today a blessing and a curse. There is something very striking about this opening. The Torah doesn't simply say, I'm giving you a blessing and a curse. It says, Re'eh, see, and then anoichi, I. What exactly are we being told to see? What does Re'eh anoichi mean? The Rebbe brings out a fascinating point. The word anoichi refers to Hashem himself, to the deepest level of godliness beyond the ordinary divine names. So the verse can be understood as, see anoichi. Look beyond what appears on the surface and recognize that Hashem himself is behind what is happening. And this changes the way we understand the entire verse. The Torah says, bracha uklala, blessing and curse. But the Rebbe points out that Targum Yonasan translates the word klala not simply as curse, but as chilufa, an exchange or substitution. Why? Because something that appears externally to be a curse may actually contain a hidden form of blessing. It is not that Hashem gives something bad. Rather, sometimes the blessing is transmitted in a way that, from our limited perspective, appears to be the opposite of blessing. The deeper meaning of a challenge, this is a fundamental idea in Chassidus. Sometimes we look at a situation and say, why is this happening to me? We see difficulty. We see the disappointment. We see the uncertainty. We see the klala. But the Torah tells us, Re'eh anechi, see anechi. Don't look only at what is happening. Look for Hashem within what is happening. The Rebbe explains that the connected blessing can actually come from higher source than ordinary revealed kindness. That is why it may initially appear to us as something negative. In other words, what looks like a curse may actually be a blessing that we don't yet have ability to see. So this is not merely a way of making ourselves feel better when something difficult happens. It's a much deeper Hasidic perspective. There can be a higher divine goodness, whose goodness is temporarily concealed from us. So the Rebbe connects this with the Alter Rebbe's explanation in Tanya that the inner dimension of suffering can be chasode mechusim, concealed kindness, coming from a loftier source than revealed kindness. But here's another question. Why does the Torah say today? The pasuk doesn't merely say Re'eh anechi noisei lifnechem. It adds hayom, today. Every day presents us with a new opportunity to see things differently. Yesterday may have been difficult. Yesterday may have included mistakes, disappointments, or things we don't understand. But today, Hashem says, Re'eh, see, look again, look deeper, look beyond the surface. And most importantly, Re'eh anechi, see anechi, recognize that Hashem is present. The ultimate Re'eh, the Rebbe takes this idea even further. The purpose of recognizing the hidden kindness is ultimately that the concealed goodness should become revealed goodness. So the Rebbe explains that this reaches its fullest expression in the Geula, when we will actually see Hashem's goodness openly and clearly. Then what today requires a mona, the recognize will become visible to our physical eyes. We won't have to ask, where is this blessing? Where is the blessing? We will be able to see it. That is the deeper meaning of Re'eh anechi, see Hashem. This is the message. Hashem is giving us a message to see it. Don't ask yourself, what is the blessing? See the blessing. You got to see it. See Hashem. That is the main thing. See Hashem. See anechi behind everything. See the blessing even when it's still concealed. And ultimately, in the Geula, we will see it shortly. The practical lesson for this is that when something happens that we don't understand, instead of immediately asking, why is Hashem doing this to me? We can ask, what is Hashem showing me that I don't yet see. That is the avodah of Re'eh. Not simply to look, but to see deeper. Not merely to see the situation, but to see Anoichi within the situation. And when we train ourselves to see Hashem's hand, even when the blessing is concealed, we prepare ourselves for the time when Ki ayin be'ayin yir'u, for eye to eye, they will see. The hidden will become revealed. The apparent curse will be a revealed blessing, or will be revealed as blessing. And we will finally see with our own eyes that everything we truly coming from Anochi. That everything that we will see will truly come from the word Anochi. So Parshas Re'eh teaches us not merely to look what happens, but to see Anochi, to recognize Hashem within everything, even when the blessing is hidden. Because ultimately, in the Geula, we will see the hidden goodness openly. Good Shabbos.